Wednesday evening, everybody. Welcome back to the LTL True Crime Podcast. It is Wednesday evening, the evening before Thanksgiving, and it is November 22nd, 2023. I want to welcome everybody into the live show. I'm sure that I have a lot of Turtleboy and Free Karen Reed supporters here tonight. I see a lot of new names and faces here in the chat. So I want to welcome you over here. If this is your first time over here to LTL True Crime Podcast. I have been covering the Karen Reed story for quite a while here. I'll be honest with you, and I will be transparent with everybody. I've kind of dipped out a little bit. I've taken on a missing persons case that has been very near and dear to my heart right now. But I knew that this case would certainly come back up again. And, if you were just out there in November at the courthouse, I was there during Aiden Turtleboy's court hearing. We live streamed there. Well, we attempted to live stream. It didn't work well, but I did get some great video, and I did get the opportunity to meet Aiden. He was on my podcast just about a month and a half ago, and I did have the opportunity to meet him, shake his hand, and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to come back on your podcast again sometime." So Aiden, if you're watching, absolutely love to have you over here, and probably reach out to you again, in some time, and have you back over here, and you get kind of caught up to date as to what's going on. So I will play that video though before we get into the Canton hearing. So if everybody's here and trying to understand what happened and why we're all here, let me bring this article up. There was a big vote the other day on Monday, and it looks like the Free Karen Reed movement has won. Has won here in Canton, Massachusetts. And we'll read this article here. This is from Boston 10. It says Canton residents vote to audit police department over John O'Keefe's murder case. I mean, this is big steps. This is huge. I mean, this is the residents of Canton stepping up and saying, "Hey, we want an audit. We want an independent audit of our police department." The people of Canton think that there is an issue. And from what they've seen in this case, it raised a lot of concerns. And this is something that needs to be looked into. So it's definitely a win in the Free Karen Reed movement. We'll go on to read this article here. So the investigation into the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe and the murder charged against his girlfriend Karen Reed have divided the community of Canton, Massachusetts. And I'd love to hear from people in the chat. Were you at the meeting the other night? Were you there? Let us know. Let me know in the chat. And maybe you can catch me up a little bit here as to what happened. I heard that something happened with Tom. Is Tom okay? Can anybody answer that for me? I think there was an incident outside where he was possibly hit by a car, or someone hit him, or knocked his phone out of his hand. What happened? So we'll go into this. So, a special town meeting this past Monday night in Canton, Massachusetts, residents voted to audit the police department and over the controversial murder investigation. More than 1,700 people, and just give me 1 second and do a little housekeeping here. Said more than 1,700 people showed up to vote on a topic that has divided the town. Tom is okay? Good. Great. I'm glad because I heard something happen with Tom. He was assaulted. Oh, geez. Tom is okay, and ER doctor elbowed him in the chest and took his phone. Tom is okay. He's sore, but otherwise, well, I hope that Tom gets the proper authorities involved in that. If someone put his hands on him, that's assault. That's assault, and that shouldn't happen. Patty, thank you so much for becoming a new member. I appreciate you supporting the channel. If anybody would like to support me in any way they can, I have a link up there. I'm trying to use this new service called Buy Me a Coffee. You can donate direct right through there. It's pinned at the top of my chat, but we'll get back into this article here. Thank you so much. So in the end, participants on Monday meeting voted 900 to 3 to 800 in favor of the audit of Canton Police Department. In an earlier round of voting by hand, an audit passed, but that was formally challenged, leading to a second vote. I guess if you don't win, they challenge it, right? A vote of no confidence in the police department was also withdrawn late Monday night. Canton native Kathleen Howley spearheaded the effort by creating a petition that ended up getting well over 300 signatures to trigger the vote. Wow. We are really up against something here in Canton, and a lot of us just don't understand it, she said Howley. John O'Keefe's body was found in January, the morning of 2022, outside the home of Brian Albert, a fellow officer of the Boston Police Department. That night before O'Keefe, Reed and Albert, others drank in a bar before returning to Albert's home, where Reed was told police she dropped O'Keefe off. Prosecutors and Reed hit O'Keefe with her. Prosecutors said Reed hit O'Keefe with her SUV and left him to die. She pled not guilty, and her defense attorney have alleged a large-scale cover-up. And a high-profile case has since overshadowed everyday life in Canton. The divide was on a full display on Monday as residents argued for or against the police audit. One resident who spoke argued that there are many checks and balances in place within the department. Others counted that the audit would look like officers' compliance, referring to current protocols as self-grading. Town leaders will now be working with the petition organizers to create a 5-person committee by February 1st. Wow, February 1st. That will be tasked by using up $200,000 of the town's reserve fund to choose the firm that will conduct the audit. Wow. It should be noted that town leaders said in its history, Canton has never had a community members vote for an independent firm to audit any of its departments. They're going to give them 2 months? That's crazy. 2 months. Jeez. What things could you clean up in 2 months? What things could you clean up in 2 months? But anyway, I digress. On that. So great thing there, I would say, for the community of Canton. You've got what you wanted. You've stood strongly behind the Free Karen Reed, Free Turtleboy movement. And you know what? Turtleboy really has been the person that has really beat this drum, and I think, woke up a lot of people to what was going on. I myself, when I first started looking into it, I was like, I don't know if that's possible. But then when I started seeing more and hearing more and understanding more of what happened, I'll be honest with you, it created a lot of reasonable doubt in my mind. I think the defense is going to be really strong. I think they're going to be able to create a lot of reasonable doubt in that jury, because just a lot of things don't add up. And now that the more and more I hear about it, it's just like, wow, how is this even possible? So really good stuff there. Canton got what they want. They have almost 3 months. I said 2 months, 3 months till, February 1st, about 2 months away till the independent audit. I wonder what that's all going to entail. I wonder if there will be, another meeting, like kind of a preview of what is going to happen in that audit. I'm sure that they're going to want complete transparency as to what things they want audited, want this firm to audit. So it's interesting. And I'm curious to hear more about this now. This is a major, major step in this whole process. So very, very interesting stuff. Oh, I wanted to pull this up. If you all weren't there outside the courtroom on November 1st, I had the opportunity to meet Aid and shake his hand. I got to listen to his speech when he came out of court that day. But I'll play a little bit of this, and then we'll get into the Canton hearing. What I have done before we get into the Canton hearing, what I have done is I've kind of fast forwarded ahead and gotten I fast forward ahead and just got kind of to where everybody talks, the people that oppose it and the people that are for it. I know that we're going to see Rita, which is great, like halfway through. I've had Rita on my show before, so that's really cool as well too. So excuse me, Loons' mom 24 says, oh my God, Tom was assaulted. His camera was pilfered on live with live witnesses. He's going to take longer to it's going to take longer to arrest this doctor than it took longer to arrest Karen Reed for murder. Yeah, like what's going to go down with all of that? Hopefully Tom is seeking the proper authorities. Absolutely. But I heard about that and I was like, oh my God, what the hell happened with Tom? So let me play this here and then we'll get into the actual hearings. I'll be honest with you, I've not watched the hearing. I'm really curious to watch it. It's going to be kind of a marathon here tonight. It's about a 3-hour hearing, but I want to hear what everybody had to say that was for it and against it. And I appreciate everybody being here again, hanging us out. I understand you probably can't make the full stream. If you can't, not a problem. It's just nice that you're here right now, but we're going to do this. We're going to do this tonight. All right, let me play this. This was a really cool moment.
Exactly. This is fun. I'm having a good time. Totally the bald guy that was sitting in the back of the car.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him.
That's him.
Aiden, Brian, LTL.
Oh, nice to see you,
What's
Brian.
up, man?
How
How
you
are
doing,
you? Good to see you.
Come back in your show soon.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff.
I recognize you.
All right, guys. Thank you guys all for coming.
All right.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care. That's cool. Good moment. I kind of was walking in that same direction anyway. When he was walking, I got a picture with him and all that stuff. So pretty neat, really neat stuff. Very nice guy. Very, very nice. Very, very cordial. Very nice. All right. So let's play the hearing. Let's get into the hearing. I'm really excited to go through this and play through this and, see what we got here. Let me pull this up. Oh boy, what'd I do? Screwing my screen up here. All right. So like I said, I kind of fast forwarded most of it to get to the part where everybody speaks. The first 30 minutes was kind of like, I want to hear everybody. I don't want to hear the prequel. I want to hear everybody. So we'll get into this. And thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate that. And again, if anybody wants to donate, you can up above. I have that Buy Me a Coffee app that I've been using. It's been working really well. The thing that's nice about it is 95% goes to the actual creator, which is nice. It's not like YouTube where they bury us all the time, but we'll get into this hearing. I'm very curious to see what's going to go on here. All right. I'm trying to get them in here. Who are you trying to get in here? Oh, Rita in here? Yeah. I don't know. It's the night before Thanksgiving. Probably a lot of people have plans, but if they want to come hang out, I'll pull Rita back up again. She's great. Okay, let's keep playing through. Let's go. Here we go. To be honest with you, I'm probably not going to talk a lot tonight. I just kind of want to hear. So let me speed this up. Let's get to the first speaker. Yeah, I know. That's why I fast forward it. We just want to hear people talk. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was really sick. I was so sick.
We have technology fixed, so give us 1 second. Slowly.
Mr. Moderator, my name is Tom Birmingham. I live on Sherman Avenue, Canton, Mass. I stand in favor of tonight's special town meeting and to help set the table for what the petitioners seek to accomplish this evening. Full disclosure, While I only signed
How many
a petition
people were?
for Article 7.
I want to ask this question before we go into it. How many people live in Canton? Do this for me. If you live in Canton, hit a 1 in the chat. Okay, 1 in the chat, and we'll let those roll. And then what I'm going to ask after that, how many people actually went to the meeting? Put a 2 in the chat. So 1, or you could put 1, 2 that you live in Canton and you went to the meeting. I'm curious to see how many people went.
I fully support all of the petitioners' efforts to improve how we are governed. Over the past several months, I have been participating in an informal group loosely referred to as the Canton Moves Forward Coalition. This is a group of concerned citizens.
Yeah, 27,000. I know that. Yep.
To address some of Canton's toughest challenges. Our unofficial goal is to help Canton move forward towards a stronger democracy and a more unified town. We have no charter, no voting structure, no budget, and limited experience with the inner workings of local government.
And that's the thing I want to point this out, because we're seeing all these disparity in numbers. Here's one: 21,000 live in Canton, 1,800 end up going, and I see that a lot here where I live in the city that I live in. I think the city I live in has over 30,000 or 50,000. No, it's like 55,000 people that live here. And literally, when we have town elections, like 9,000 people go out. So here's the thing: if you have an average, that 10,000 people on average are going to go out. All you need to do is win like 6,000 of them, and you've got the vote. So I always say this, a lot of people knock on the president election. They think that's the most important election in our country. It's not. It's your local officials, because you live in those towns, in those cities. Those are the most important elections. So go out, look at the people that are running your towns, look at the people that are running your cities, and clearly the people in Canton do. They're starting to stand up and say, hey, something's not right here. And this is the first time I ever really heard anything like this around here. People challenging the town and challenging and saying, hey, we want full transparency. Let's peel back the onion layers here and look and see what the fuck is going on. So I think it's great. I think that it's awesome that people are invested in their community and they get out and do that. I mean, there's none of that here where I live. There's none of that here. People just don't give a shit, and they keep voting the same fucking person in and out, in all the time. You keep spinning the same cycle. And then I go on social media to my town Facebook, city Facebook groups and stuff, and people just complain about the same shit over and over again. I'm like, well, you're the dickheads that go out and vote these same fucking people in. Maybe after 30 years of the same fucking person, look at it and go, hey, you know what? Maybe we should try these people over here. All right, let's keep playing through this.
Do have is a growing collective voice and lots of ideas.
Yeah, I saw that. He was like, oh, ah.
What we seek tonight and in the future is to be heard. What we ask tonight is for people to please listen. Next slide.
Next slide.
Thank goodness.
How many slides this guy have?
By law to pursue happiness.
Oh my God.
However,
this guy would put me to sleep.
There's a lot of unhappiness going on around us. Our town is hurting and out of balance in ways I have never seen before. This certainly is a
I'll rewind it.
conflict, but it is also an opportunity for change. Fortunately, our forebears anticipated this conflict and created many tools we can use to move forward. Next slide.
Oh God, is he going to say next slide all the time?
We are experiencing unprecedented times. This requires unprecedented action.
By the way, thank you so much for the supporter that bought me the coffee on buy me a coffee. I appreciate that. If anybody wants to donate, you can. My direct link is up there top on the chat. If not, you can super chat. You can join members. We have all that. There's multiple ways to support the stream. I do appreciate that. I need to get this channel going to free me up my corporate job. I got 1 year to plan and do that. I'd love to do it in 6 months, but my goal is 1 year because I want this to be my full-time job. My full-time job. I want to be a full-time creator, reporter, nuisance, whatever you want to call me. Okay, let's keep playing.
Tonight provides us
Thorn in the side.
examples. First,
Hey, how are you?
this is Canton's first STM special town meeting compelled by a citizen petition. Second, this is the largest
This guy's going to talk a lot. He's got a lot of papers, right?
turnout by far for a town meeting that I can recall.
He's got the audit.
Third,
Holy shit.
we will be asked whether we want to use paper ballots to register our votes. These are all unprecedented actions. Folks, I'm here to tell you, this is amazing progress right before our eyes. On behalf of myself and all the petitioners, I give a sincere shout out to the Finance Committee, the town moderator, the town clerk, all of our tellers, and of course, Lewis and the IT team working very diligently to make this town meeting happen. Thank you to all the helpers. We sincerely appreciate your efforts. Next slide.
Oh, God.
Many of you may be familiar with the legend of David and Goliath.
Oh, my
It
God.
is essentially a story about how a skilled hunter who, on behalf of his people, defeated the seemingly invincible giant who represented
Bang, bang.
the establishment.
Bang,
Key
bang.
to David's success, he figured out
Bang,
that
bang.
Goliath had poor vision and used that to his advantage. The petitioners feel a little like David. They are not experts in parliamentary procedure.
I'm going to fall asleep.
Municipal law, writing petitions, articles, and motions. They have limited time and resources to devote to these efforts. They're super.
I'll fast forward it.
Passion.
I can't with this. Oh, my God. You've got to be kidding me. Okay. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay. Let's get to the next person. Oh my God, there's so much explaining. Just get to people. So what, am I missing anything here? They're talking about how the ballot's going to happen. All voters at the time of the vote shall be in designated voting area, and votes will be counted by a show of hands holding a voter card. If the moderator is unable to determine the vote results from the show of hands, then the votes will be counted by standard teller process set forth in Art 5, Section 12 of such bylaws, with the exception that no person shall be at any time required to stand to be eligible to vote.
They were supposed to be.
I'm going to speed this up. Oh my God. Who's this guy? Let's hear him.
To ask about Article 1, Motion 3, specifically on the list of speakers allowed to participate in tonight's meeting but have no voting privileges. One person who stands out is a partner with the law firm Brody, Harden, Perkins, and Keston. And I choose not to call him out by name, but according to his bio, he's one of the state's leading authorities on police misconduct, as well as representing cities and towns facing lawsuits. I ask through you, Mr. Moderator, for clarity about his presence and speaking with 3 questions. If you would like to address the questions or have Mr. Keston himself, I respectfully go through you. Is Mr. Keston here tonight to represent the Canton Police Department or one individual?
The answer to that question is simple. if somebody is here and they do speak and they are speaking on behalf of someone else, they must identify that they are doing that. So at this point, I understand they were put on the list because there's some representation involved. And if they do speak, they're required by our bylaws to disclose that.
Okay.
Next question.
Who within our town government retained this person?
Kalama, thank you so much for the coffee donation. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Do you have an answer to that?
No, I don't, and I don't think that's in order. Next question.
Are the taxpayers of Canton paying for this legal representation? Do we happen to know if the select board chose this gentleman and if they are retaining his fees for tonight?
That is also out of order. The purpose of this article is to allow people to speak if they are in here.
Yeah, but I want to like hear some of this. I haven't heard any of this, so I know people tell me like fast forward. I don't want to fast forward. I want to hear what everybody had to say. That's the purpose of that's why I wanted to do this. It's not just to get to the vote. I want to hear what some of the people had to say too. And I know Rita's coming up pretty soon too, from what I remember. So I'm here tonight. I wanted to hear what people had to say. That's why I wanted to do this. So yeah, I don't want to like fast forward through it. I'll fast forward through some of the conversation, but I want to hear what people had to say. That's the purpose why I wanted to do this. Okay, let's keep playing.
Told the petitioners that if they wanted representation, I would allow them in this room to work with them. I personally have had to ask legal advice. My advisor is not in the room tonight because I felt well prepared, but that has nothing to do with the motion that's at hand. The motion at hand is are these people, because they have gone through the protocols that we have established in town, allowed to be in this room and speak if they so desire? That is the motion at hand. These other issues or concerns at this point, maybe more.
I would assume probably the buffering problem because there's so many people watching it, and that small cable station that was broadcasting, that small, their little community, centralization or centralized, their website essentially just probably couldn't handle the traffic. That's why it got bogged down. So what I did was I actually downloaded it, and it played a lot better. So yeah.
Of an issue if they do speak, and I'm sure that some of those will be, some of those questions could be answered after, but if they choose not to speak, again, I don't, have any inclination or knowledge of exactly, who the representation. I see the list. Everyone knows how to get on the list, and I've explained to the petitioners if they had represented, they need. Any other questions?
Oh, high school Wi-Fi.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other questions, I now, by the way, it is very hard for me. I mean, the room is full of all different colors. Please make sure that if you're standing in a microphone, thank you. I honestly, if you stood up here and looked out, you'd see it's just a array of colors. Sorry, next question.
Good evening, Mr. Monitor. Respectfully, I second Sean's motion that if someone is going to.
Excuse me,
Allow me to finish my sentence to see if it's a repeat of a question.
Go ahead.
So the people that are, all right, so let me just try to get this straight because I wasn't there. So the people that were heckling were people that were opposing what was going on, correct? So this young lady here, obviously, I think I saw her out at the court hearing on the 1st. She might have been there. I think she was outside the courthouse. Is this the people that are heckling are the people that are opposed to what's going on, correct? Let me just try to get that straight. That's what I think I'm understanding here. I think she was outside the courthouse. She might have been. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I think Jennifer was out there.
Yes, I do think that if someone is going to make gun motions into their mouth, the cop should be paying attention to the audience right now. Thank you. Let's raise the bar. Secondly, Jennifer
So,
O'Donnell,
again,
16
Wow.
Walnut Knolls. I apologize.
Okay, thank you for your.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying
I
that.
haven't made my comment yet. My comment is that respectfully, if someone's going to sway the crowd with their opinion and they are an out-of-towner, I think that we should know if they are on our payroll that we are paying for.
And if they speak, they are, I've responded to that question. If they speak.
You know, I have to say something that's really, I have to really commend the Canton residents, because this is standing up for your community like 101. Not a lot of people do this. Not a lot of communities do this. Not a lot of communities challenge their officials. I think this is a fantastic step in whatever comes out of this. And obviously we want the end result that Karen walks free, and, you know, whatever happens after that, if there's any type of corruption, then those people go away or get tried for their corruption. But I think this is a fantastic step in the sense of people now starting to take their communities back and challenge the officials that have been there for years and years and years and have probably said, hey, everything's okay. No, we need to start looking at that. And we're starting to understand, and I think we're starting to see a lot of things, you know, especially since like 2015, when, and I'll use the example, when Donald Trump got into the White House. I think that he started peeling back a lot of the layers of the government, opened that up to people to really look at it. Who are the officials that are in and around running your government? And there was a lot of questions. There were a lot of questions. And I think that's why he's hated so much, because he peeled back that curtain, peeled back those onion layers. You know, I always joke around and say it's the Wizard of Oz effect. You know, don't look at the man behind the curtain. You know, he peeled that curtain back. So he peeled that back and allowed the government to be exposed and people to be able to look inside. And then when that happened, in my opinion, what happened was those corrupt officials weren't allowed to make money on the side anymore. He stopped all of it for 4 years. I mean, look, there was not one fucking war in 4 years when that guy was in the White House. Not one war. And love him, hate him, you know. But I think, you know, just in my opinion, he peeled back the curtain and he showed this is what's going on. And they didn't like it. They didn't like it. For 4 years, you know, all that money stopped. You know, all that money stopped. So, but again, like I said, a lot of people probably won't like him here. That's fine. You know, I have my opinion, and you know, I'm just using that as an example. I mean, love him or hate him, that's essentially what he did. I mean, he peeled back the curtain and said, "Look, this is your government." And I think it changed a lot of people's minds, Republican or Democrat. Because I have Democrat friends now that look at the government and go, Jesus Crow, what is going on? You know, what is going on over there? There's a lot of corrupt shit going on. So I digress on that. We'll get back to this. But my whole point is, you know, taking your community back, looking at the officials that are running your community, who are the people that are getting voted into these specific situations, you know, making sure that they're qualified. So anyway, I digress on that. We'll keep playing through here.
Required by our bylaws to disclose that, so,
That
and
they're being
I
paid
do
by
not know what their intentions are.
dollars, that they're being paid by tax dollars. That's what they have to disclose.
Again, that is not what they have to disclose. They have
That
to
should be.
disclose who they are representing. So, you know, it's pretty easy to figure out. I mean, our town tax dollars are only appropriated by you, the people. So it's pretty easy to figure that out.
Glamour.
So I appreciate.
Yeah, that's true.
Comments, but again, they are not.
And listen, that's not really, you know, I don't really talk a lot of politics here. I try to stay away from that. I just use Trump as an example. And I think, you know, on the counterpart here, I think Glamour makes a good point too. You know, she says the houseplant being in office the last almost 3 years has opened a lot of eyes too. It has, you know, it definitely has. But anyway, we'll digress on that. We'll just move forward here. And, you know, I was just using that as an example. So anyway, we'll keep moving on here.
For this motion that is before us tonight,
Excuse me.
hopefully that satisfies you. All right, any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor of motion 3 of Article 1, signify by raising your cards.
It's gonna be a lot of cards. No? Maybe?
All opposed, please signify by raising your cards. The motion has passed in this room by at least a 80% margin. So 80% to 20%.
Excuse me.
So that is my declaring in this room. And it does not need that. It only needs a majority. I'm going to ask the other rooms to then vote this article.
Carrie, thank you so much for your coffee. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the coffee. Appreciate that. All right, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I want to get to the people. Here's Kathleen.
One more second. While we're waiting for the vote, once again, the petitioners have asked or have given me some names to help verify the people that were assigned to the gymnasium are not there. If there's someone else on the list that they gave me that would like to go and be the observer and help confirm some of these votes, please see me. All right, so motion 3 of Article 2 has overwhelmingly passed in all 3 locations, and the chair has ordered it so voted, and Article 1 is now closed and dispensed. Yes, it is now closed and dispensed. So, and we will now move on to Article 2. For Article 2, the chair will recognize first the petitioner.
Mr. Moderator, the petitioners wish to withdraw Article 2 without prejudice.
Okay, Article 2 has been withdrawn without prejudice, so at this point, there will be no discussion on that one. So we now are moving on to Article 3. The chair will recognize the petitioner for Article 3.
Mr. Moderator, the petitioners wish to withdraw Article 3 without prejudice.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I do something?
We also, for the record, and keep in mind, I'm not always good at this, we have to start with a name and address. And so Kathleen, I'm sorry, because we've been working so closely the last couple of days, I didn't even ask that, but please.
Kathleen Howley, 43 Sherman Avenue.
Thank you. And so now, again, the Article 3.
For Article 3, the petitioners wish to withdraw Article 3 without prejudice.
Thank you. So Article 3 has been withdrawn without prejudice and will not be debated.
God, there's a lot of people there, man. That's good. That's good. A lot of people there. Carrie, that's sweet. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, the petitioners wish to withdraw Article 4 without prejudice.
If anybody's wondering, Carrie is my assistant. She helps me out here on the channel. She does a lot of my kind of legal paper behind the scenes and us getting, case files and body cam footage. It's something that we're trying to bring here to the channel. So, I want to just give her a shout out. She's been working really hard behind the scenes. So if everybody can just say thank you, Carrie, I would appreciate it. Give her a thank you in the chat. It's just, she's been doing a lot. So I appreciate it.
I apologize. I got a question from the audience in the other room, and I got to also make sure that I trying to give them the proper attention, just because they didn't get here at 5 o'clock like the rest of this audience. Want to make sure that I'm addressing them too. So I'm sorry, Kathleen. Article 4, again.
I'm just trying to get this a little lower. Is- Mr. Moderator, the petitioners wish to withdraw Article 4 without prejudice.
Thank you. So Article 4 has been withdrawn without prejudice and therefore will not be debated or discussed tonight. Thank you. I want to comment on that. The petitioners, they're not allowed to now speak on this, but since I have worked with them, because they can't debate an article, but I do know that there's some things that they just didn't feel quite ready for. So by withdrawing an article without prejudice, it allows them to possibly revisit some of these things at a later date. But again.
Street Squirrel, thank you so much for the coffee. I appreciate that. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Decorum, please. This.
Excuse me.
There's a lot of hard work put into all this stuff for the last couple of weeks. I truly expect everybody to respect what is happening tonight. And again, I didn't have to, comment on that. But again, there's a lot of work that goes into any of these articles. And I believe that the petitioners' perspective on this, it was their own, not guided by myself or anyone. So I just wanted to explain to you what it means to be withdrawn without prejudice. So I don't know if that's their intention, but again, that is what the element is. So now we are ready to move on to Article 5. So again, the chair will recognize the petitioners, Kathleen, to make a motion for Article 5.
Mr. Moderator, I'm making a motion to move consideration of this be postponed until after Article 8.
Okay, so the petitioner would like to address other articles before actually addressing this one for various reasons on that, it's their own opinion. But that motion to address this article after we've disposed of Article 8 is the motion that's on the table. Do I hear a second? So I hear a motion to move this until after we've addressed all the other articles and dispense of them to Article 8. I have a speaker
Excuse me.
motion. Ms. Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you for all the work that you've put into this meeting, as well as everybody else in the town, especially FinCom, who spent hours and hours on this. We feel that the meeting would go more quickly to address some of the articles that have the greatest attention here tonight. And for those reasons, I ask that this article be moved until after Article 8.
Great. Any other comments on that? Seeing none, all in favor to move this until after Article 8, raise and... Okay, all opposed? All right. I will not declare my findings until I've heard from the other room, primarily because of the time lag. I would like them to finish voting and have this done so that my perspective or the perspective of this room does not sway the votes in the other room. So give this a second. And when... Go ahead. All right.
For the entire Lenise.
All right, I'm going to speed it up.
I'm in the cafeteria about a couple minutes behind you. I had a point of order. When these articles are being withdrawn without prejudice. Are we talking for the entire special town meeting?
Welcome in, everybody.
Wasn't that clear? In other words, can that be brought up if this went to a second day? Or this is off for the special?
Once the article is withdrawn, that means when the petitioner withdraws a motion without prejudice, that means they're taking it off the table like it never was on this warrant.
I can go back to it after. Is it something that we should play? Or should I go play it now? Angela, you think I should go back and play it now? This is Chris Albert's lawyer. Oh, wow. Oh, this has to end? All right, I'll go back to it. Do you know where? Is it like right in the beginning? Again, I haven't watched this, so. Is it way at the beginning? Right here? Am I at the spot? Or are they going to have his name up on the screen? It sets the tone for the meeting. Okay. Just let me know if I'm at the right spot. Again, I wasn't there, so I haven't watched this yet. It's right after this. Okay, thank you. It's got to that guy. He's the one that speaks at the lower podium. That's all that we got. Right there. I'm literally scrubbing through it. I don't see it. It just goes right to this guy. So I don't know if that was like way before. Because I literally scrubbed through. I don't see anybody at a lower podium. All right, I'm going to go back to where we were.
Article is withdrawn.
I did. I went all the way to the beginning. There's nothing there. It's this. Just goes here. Is it that guy right here? Guy with the glasses? It's around 50 minutes if you're playing from Canton TV. Ah, right here.
To learn.
So that everyone fully understands, I purposely asked for introductions. I knew that everyone would not be here, and I wanted everyone that on time or in their spot. So I wanted to make sure that we started with some introductions so everyone would be in place by the time the voting took place. The other thing I want to say is this opportunity to speak before we start the articles is really the only time we will be going off script. I mean, I was at the volleyball game, but those type of comments will not be ruled. That will be ruled out of order.
It was 3 hours. It was like 3 hours.
Since I asked the petitioner,
Yeah, we're almost there.
Allow the petitioners the opportunity.
If I skip 30 seconds, it's going to go past.
Also,
We're almost there.
If they would like to have some opening comments. And so, Mr. Theodore, would you like to make some opening statements?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Thomas Theodore, 18 Charles Drive, and the chair of the Canton Select Board. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here this evening and participating in the special town meeting. We certainly are facing unprecedented and challenging times. We are all here together tonight, albeit divided and somewhat contentious about a desire to do what we feel is right and best for our town. But over the past few months, I've been saddened by the fact that we as Canton residents have allowed outside influences with the intent of driving a wedge between us and our neighbors, along with total disregard for the well-being of our town. The vitriol and hatred displayed.
Order.
The vitriol and hatred displayed on social media, the threatening letters and emails sent to different people, the defacing of property. This has to end. This is not Canton. We are better than this. So tonight, I ask, as we debate the motions and the articles at hand, we do so with an open mind. We must be respectful of other views, and we can agree to disagree and do so with civility. I believe we all have something to offer here this evening, and we can learn from one another. But most importantly, no matter what the outcome of this evening is, we make a commitment to one another that we do move forward, work collectively as a community, and always keep what is in the best interest of Canton in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for letting me see that. I'm going to go back to where we were. Let's see. This guy. Kind of all over the place tonight.
A couple minutes behind you. I had a point of order. When these articles are being withdrawn without prejudice, are we talking for the entire special town meeting? Because it wasn't that clear.
Excuse
In
me.
other words, can that be brought up if this went to a second day? Or this is off for this?
Now, once an article is withdrawn, that when the petitioner withdraws a motion without prejudice, that means they're taking it off the table like it never was on this warrant whatsoever.
I
That's what.
just want that clarification.
Excuse
So
me.
they are taking this off this warrant. It cannot be brought up at a later time. They have withdrawn this article from this meeting as it exists.
So I want to just make that clear.
Yep.
So
So when I spoke, thank you, I appreciate the point of order. So when I spoke that they may raise this at a different time, not at this meeting, they would have to go through the same process that they would have to, or they would have to go through the process that we use when we put articles on the annual town meeting. So
thank you. I just want to clarify.
thank you. I appreciate that clarification. Say that again. I'll try to do better. I need your name and address as
Glenn Hannington, 22 Woodcliff Road, Canton. Okay?
Who's he keep talking to behind there? Who's the guy he's talking to? Even the moderator don't know what the hell's going on.
at a point in time. Which other was close? The cafeteria was also very close, but the
and as presented above.
okay, so the finance committee, following we're on a very tight deadline to get the warrant out so we can get printed copies to everybody. They made a motion that you saw is printed in the warrant. They met a subsequent meeting and revised that motion. And that motion is what you're seeing as printed on the back of this card. And so, Ms. Thomas, can you speak to the motion and also address the slight nuance change between the two?
Certainly. So first I will address the changes that were made. In particular, the motion that is on the back of your card speaks to this, this process to proceed with a review of the police department to be led by the town chief procurement officer, and specifies instead of 3 to 5, we specify that it should have 5 members in this committee, 2 to be nominated by the petitioners and 2 to be nominated by from community members at large, to the chief procurement officer. And we also indicated that this procurement should follow all standard procurement laws and be conducted in compliance with conflict
Excuse me.
ethic laws, and also that both the process should be made, that the process should be shared publicly in terms of the process of developing the RFP, the review process, and the selection. And then in addition, in compliance with public records law, the results of the independent consultant's report should be made public upon completion. So that's kind of a brief summary of the article and some of the key points. The Finance Committee voted unanimously 6-0-0 to recommend this
Thank you.
Finance Committee motion. As I said, this is for an independent review of the police department, which includes a review of policies, procedures, and compliance. The formation of a committee to oversee the procurement was recommended to preserve the integrity of the selection process. And I've already stated how that would be done. The Finance Committee recommended also that Chapter 30B, Section 6 be used.
All right, I'm going to fast forward this.
Derive that, and how does it
You should also notice that these funds would be a transfer from
determine?
responsible to
So please, if
actively.
very, if there's an ethics hotline in the state, and you call that, and you can report that, and then all the answers and it's debated, to make them are put on the table and.
Because I'm kind of questioning, I guess, what are they going to accomplish with this audit? Because I've heard a lot of talk about lack of independent.
What would you accomplish with an audit? You got to be kidding me.
Internal oversight, compliance with policies isn't monitored, audits are self-reporting, the CPD is afraid of being audited.
That is the dumbest.
All right, but
What would you? Well, let's just say specific to what would you accomplish to this audit? Let's just make it a blanket statement. What would you accomplish with an audit? You would look into something and see how things are being ran. If there's any stealing or theft or corruption, whatever, doctoring the books, doctoring credentials, all that stuff. What would you achieve?
when you look up here, and I'm not going to
Right. That's right, Phil. An audit is an audit.
David and Goliath topics, but when you look up here from an outside auditing, external monitoring perspective, I mean, everything that's being proposed in this motion is covered. Okay, they have independent financial and evidence room audits done annually. Citizen privacy is covered by CJIS, which monitors all data access, all searches performed.
Bobby, thank you so much for the coffee. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Citizens monitoring radio scanners, recording interactions on their phones. From a reporting perspective, they have mandated.
Thank you for the coffee, Bobby. I appreciate that. Thank you.
FBI reporting for excessive use of force or use of force in general. Mandated taser deployment reporting for the Executive Office of Public Safety. There's a whole bunch of different things already in place here that cover all this, with court trials being the ultimate oversight. Okay, defense teams,
Thank you.
juries, etc. They get to objectively analyze every single case, the evidence collection methods, everything. And you get to see during the trial. Next slide, please. From an officer conduct perspective, I mean, that's on here with complaints, et cetera. We have things that are state run organizations already in place to handle this. Okay, and the police are required by law to report on these things. There's an oversight commission with the majority civilian, and every law enforcement agency office has to get certified on this every 3 years. Next slide, please.
Uh-oh.
I mean, they have training mandates. They have organizations that oversee everything that they're supposed to be trained on every year. And our Canton Police Department already does a whole bunch of other voluntary trainings every year. So I guess I'm confused here because I also saw limits for conflicts of interest. That's where jurisdictional control comes in. If there is a conflict of interest, the Mass State Police take over an investigation, or some other organization takes over an investigation. Okay?
Ooh.
Crime scene compliance. I mean, they have external lab units that collect information, that collect evidence. It's not done at the local level. Next slide, please. And this is a big deal. I've seen a lot of people, frankly, just talking about this as if it's a self-assessment process, or it's self-reporting, or, you know, they don't review compliance. That's absolutely untrue. This is a big achievement.
Is this guy former law enforcement? I'm curious because he seems to know a lot about, you know, what's going on. I'm just curious if he's former law enforcement. Not that it you know, I'm just saying, because he seems to know a lot.
This organization, okay? We are one of 122 law enforcement agencies out of 374 in
State
Massachusetts
police.
that have achieved this accreditation. That's less than that. We're the top third, 90%. Okay, no other people are doing this all over the place. It's not required.
It's not.
It is voluntary. They don't have to do this. And this
Got it.
involves a thorough examination of everything: their equipment, their evidence rooms, their collection methods, their policies and procedures, how they operate and function every day. Right? And they have to get reaccredited every 3 years with this. And it's not just a rubber stamp. It's not a self-reporting process. They come on site for multiple days, and our police department has to produce documentation throwing 3 years of compliance with all the policies and procedures and everything they're talking about analyzing here, and spending $200,000 on.
People still wearing masks? Wow. Dude, I thought we were like 3 years past that, man.
Which, to be frank, we don't know if it's going to be $200,000. That is an estimate. It's a placeholder. This thing could be $500,000. Could be $1 million.
No. The motion as written would set a maximum on that. So just want to clarify that for the people. And you have another minute.
Yep. And I guess I have concern with the committee. You know, I've watched the FinCon meetings.
It's not good for you, Mary. I mean, you can do what you want, but it's not good for you. That weakens your immune system. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the whole COVID this, COVID that stuff tonight, but it's your choice. You know, I just think it's weird when I see people still wearing a mask. Anyway.
We don't want the select board to select a thing because of conflicts of interest. Well, how is having a committee with 60% attendees chosen by the petitioners not biased? They are biased. They pulled this town together in this meeting together.
Order.
I disagree.
Gel, thank you for the coffee. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support of LTL True Crime Podcast. Thank you.
With having any petitioner involvement in selecting members, and if you want to,
Well, work is a different thing.
For the reason, that's fine, but that is not an unbiased committee.
That's an opinion. Thank you. Next speaker, I'm going to move over here.
So the people clapping right now are the people that are against this whole audit. I'm assuming, right? That's what I'm assuming here. I'm kind of getting the drift of what's going on. Seems like they're the ones that are really out of order in this hearing, right?
And then I'm gonna go. And
Isn't Rita's coming up soon, right?
And because we want to make sure this is fair debate, if you are speaking in favor of an article, I want you to stand to the left. And if you're speaking on opposed to the motion, well, all right, then
This is interesting.
If you don't like that, I'm fine with that, but I will end the debate when it's time. So let's go to the next speaker.
Mr. Moderator, Bob McCarthy, Old Meadow Lane.
Oh gosh, he's from
The
Boston.
original articles
McCarthy.
presented were illegal and unenforceable. This current one basically is beyond the scope of the article. The Finance Committee rewrote and added to the scope. Why? I have no idea. I spent 8 years on the Finance Committee and I've never, ever seen this done. I know they were trying to help, but they made a bad situation worse. The Finance Committee also sought the advice from the proponents.
Real quick, I'm just going to pause real quick. If you've come into the chat room and you're just in here right now, do me a favor, just smash that like button. It's free to do that. I would appreciate it. I think we're at about 74 likes, which is great. We have about 84 people watching right now. The most important thing is we want to get this up to 100 likes before it ends tonight. So I would appreciate it. Let's keep playing through. Thank you. Thanks for all being here on the Thanksgiving Eve, I guess we call it. It's wonderful that we're pulling in, almost 100 people tonight, hanging out here, watching the Canton meeting, where the Free Karen Reed movement has won. They have stood up and let everybody hear them. So I think this is great. It's really, really good stuff. All right, let's keep playing through here.
Why? Opponents want to control $200,000 and the study. Originally,
We're so close. We're at 87 likes. Smash that like
They have
button.
no idea what they want to study. Who's going to put the scope together? Based on what?
Oh, there's Rita.
They want to control a minimum of 60% of the committee. Although now they didn't put that amendment in, but they still want to control. When they were at this Finance Committee meeting, they said they probably couldn't accept the committee that they didn't have 60%. Opponents believe that all town employees can't be trusted. They attain it. Who are these proponents? What are their qualifications? They're not elected. They represent 1.75% of 17,000 registered voters. What about the other 98.5% of the voters? Except for the procurement officer,
Excuse me.
or his designee, they want him to accept whatever they come up with. That means he's got to commit his license, commit his reputation on people he doesn't know, and do not trust him because he works for the town. I would never do this. Again, 1.7% of 17,000 registered voters. Does a well-run town send over $200,000 to a committee? They have no idea. No person from the town, no employee from the town is on this.
But that's the purpose of it. These people don't understand. This guy is he doesn't even understand. The purpose of an independent audit is this, and I know you're all smart here in the room. I don't have to explain it to you, but it's an outside entity that has no prejudice in whatever case it is, or in the business, or whatever it is that they're auditing. They have no prejudice because they have nothing to do with it. All their job is to come in and make sure that everything is being filed and done under the standards of that business practice or that entity or that government. I don't know. You all understand what I'm trying to say. But this guy has no idea. Oh, there's no town official. There's no one. That's the point of this, you dickhead. It's to not have any corruption or bias when this takes place. So why would you want a city official involved in that? Yes, that would create possible corruption or possible bias. All right, let's keep playing through here.
5% want total control. Reject this proposal and all the proposals and allow the study that the select board has already started and continue.
You want someone that's like when athletes go to arbitration, it's the let's just use baseball. It's the Boston Red Sox and let's say Pedro Martinez, and they have a dispute over a contract. Someone comes in the middle and they arbitrate in between both of them. They're looking at both sides. That's what this is. This is what this is, you idiot. You don't want people involved in it. You want an independent person that has no bias. They go in, they peel back the layer and say, this is what's going on. It is correct or it is incorrect.
These proponents are never going to be satisfied until you have total capitulation from the 98%.
This guy makes no sense.
Pandering to the disruptive minority and move on. I hope this article is rejected.
And I think that was the first time I've ever called anybody a dickhead on my show. Listen, Richard Cranium. I don't even know the guy, and I feel bad that I just did that. But anyway, whatever. I mean, I think you're getting the point. It's not to have anybody involved in it. It's a non-biased approach.
Ms. Murphy. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
We're so close to 100 likes. We just need 6 more. Smash that like button down below.
State that I support the Canton Police. Because I do, I accepted Chief Rafferty's open invitation to speak. And since that time, I've spent past several months understanding the many procedures and audits conducted at the Canton Police Department. Chief Rafferty and I have corresponded many times and met to discuss CPD processes and audits in person twice. One of those times, she graciously invited me down to the CPD to meet with her and several of her staff to review their processes. Ultimately, I came to understand that the police must perform a lot of the training overseen by the Massachusetts Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission, Post Commission, and they must be certified for duty. I have learned that CPD has not only established all mandatory procedures required by the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission for certification, but they also established optional procedures required to achieve the accreditation level. This is a great step, and the CPD should be commended for it. But I also learned that the attestation of an officer's fitness for duty is performed by the chief or her designate, and there is no review of how well or even whether CPD follows all of those procedures. And in fact, if there are any concerns raised regarding procedures not being followed, the only review that is performed is done internally. This is why we need an independent audit of the CPD. They may be doing everything correctly, but we need an independent review to know for sure. Further, the select board only authorized audit of the CPD after the submission of this petition requiring the STM and this article that's contained in it. Their approval occurred after several months of ignoring and stifling citizens' requests for review. Now, the select board was suggesting that the audit of the CPD that they wanted to conduct is the way to go. This is the same select board that has stated multiple times in their meetings when CPD reviews were requested that they do not tell the CPD how to do their job. I feel the select board missed their window of opportunity, and we should proceed with the motion as written. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now working my way to the right. So the woman in blue.
Hi,
Name?
Kathy Butters, 84 Walpole Street. I stand opposed to this article. My position is town accountant as hired under Mass General Laws 41, Section 55. As town accountant, I'm also responsible for the internal audits of the town. Not only does my office audit and follow the Mass General Laws, we also have to follow the procurement laws, report monthly, quarterly, and annually to the Mass Department of Local Services, the Mass Department of Revenue, as well as legal services and the IRS. Our town completes an external audit every year as required. Canton goes above and beyond by completing extra steps to be recognized by the Government Finance Officers Association. We don't have to do this, it's optional. We have received an award for the last 17 years for our excellence in financial reporting. Our external audit for FY23.
Does she work on the board? She work on the board? I'm guessing she works on the board, right?
It was just completed a couple of weeks ago, and we will be submitting for that same award again very shortly. While our external audit includes the police department also goes above and beyond to be one out of 122 police departments out of 351 in the state to be
town accountant. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Accredited
Thanks for that clarification.
I have also worked with the past two police chiefs to file and submit all financial records related to asset
Thank you.
forfeiture proceeds, overtime
Thank you.
records for any task force. All of this is
Excuse me.
Our police department doesn't have to do this. They go above and beyond. I am going to quote our town administrator, who recently said of me, "Kathy follows the rules, annoyingly so." This is true. I follow every rule, and because of this, I say no, and I put down a lot of things that makes me not a very well-liked person with a lot of the departments. But I'm fine with that because I know I'm following the rules and I'm doing what's best for Canton. I consider this article redundant and a waste of town funds. Therefore, I ask you to join me and vote no on this article.
Thank you, Ms. Bowden. All right, I'm gonna work my way across the room, but before I have somebody that in front that would like to speak, they can't get up. Go ahead.
Patricia Brooks, 9 Bond Street, Canton, obviously. I am first of all, completed at the ethics program for both Blue Hill Regional School as a member of the, as an elected member of the retirement system. I just wanted to have a point of clarification. I'm not going here, yes or no. I watched the finance committee meeting on November 13th, and they had, I can't remember the numbers. I think it was 3 for one portion, 2 for the other, and of course the auditor. I call him the auditor. Can these petitioners be on that committee, since it's supposed to be an independent committee, so that there's no conflict of interest or anything like that? For me to be on that committee, I would be in conflict. I would, because I know exactly how I'm going to vote, and they would know exactly how I'm going to vote. It would be like me having, I'm going to be opposed to it, and these people that put in the petition obviously are going to be a favor of it. So how would that be?
Thank you for your comments and question. You raised one point. Again, this article is written in a way, and I've had to get a lot of legal advice on motions that are legal motions, but may not be legally enforceable motion. However, the petitioners would, the end result working my.
Also want to note that when we had our discussion about this article, we did hear from the petitioners. That is typical practice. If the select board were putting forth an article, we would provide them with opportunity to speak on that article with the finance committee. And in fact, the evening that we did.
We've had a couple.
Wondering if the public or if.
We would, you can.
Good evening, Mr. Monitor. Jennifer O'Donnell, 16 Walnut Knolls. I support the third-party audit, and I have reasonings behind that. I am wondering if the monitor is allowed to address some questions to Chief Rafferty on my behalf.
You can ask them. I'm not sure if I will pass them along, because they definitely need to be pertinent to whether or not we would go forward. So if they're related to what other types of audits we have before. So go ahead, let's start. Sure.
Just want to pause really quick and welcome everybody into the LTL True Crime Podcast tonight. I appreciate you being here. We're kind of reviewing the Canton Town meeting the other day. Obviously, we know that the Free Karen Reed movement is working there in Canton. You all there, the residents of Canton, won through a vote the independent special audit that's going to happen sometime in February. I believe it was February 1st, or they had to be in compliance by February 1st. And thank you all for being here. I see a lot of new names tonight, a lot of new subscribers. I appreciate y'all being here. Karen Reed is not the only case that I cover here. I cover a multitude of cases here, but I know that you're all probably most likely here, but I encourage you all to check out some of my other streams as well. Lately, we've been following a young lady. Her name is Chelsea Grimm, that went missing about 2 months ago out in Arizona. And I have just a very personal I would say I've taken on a very personal interest in that case lately and been trying to do everything and get transparency out there about Chelsea's case to bring her home. Ultimately we want to bring her home. But, again, I appreciate everybody being here. If you haven't checked out, I did do a interview with Aiden not too long ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And if you just take 2 seconds, I'll find the link for that stream. If you didn't get to watch it live, you can at least go back and watch the replay. It was a really fantastic stream that we had together. And I'm going to drop the link here in the chat if you'd like to go back and revisit it after this chat, after this live ends. You can go there and check that out. But thank you all for being here. We're at 98 people. I'd love to see 100, at least tip 100 before we close it up. But we got quite a while here. I appreciate y'all being here again on this pre-Thanksgiving Eve, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Hope you all have an amazing day tomorrow. But all right, let's keep playing through.
I was wondering if the public or if the committee or Chief Rafferty could speak on behalf of whether there was a proper vetting process done when she was given the position of chief.
That is out of order. Next question. Please order.
Whoa.
Next question.
My next question would be if Chief Rafferty could advise parents on
Absolutely.
when they have requested a meeting with herself and officers and she will not comply.
All right, so this is going to be your second warning. All right, and so
Yeah, if you didn't see the interview I had with Aiden, it was really good. I thought it was really, really good. And I'll drop the link again for that so you all can check it out. But everybody was like, we loved your chemistry together. You guys were so good. So I'd love to get him back over here. I played a video at the very beginning of the stream. I went out to the November 1st hearing when he had his court hearing, and I actually had the opportunity to meet him, got my pictures taken with him. And definitely he said, hey, I want to come back on your podcast. So hopefully I can make that happen again soon. And, go over there in the comments, leave a comment. Hey, we want to see you back on LTL True Crime Podcast. So, all right, let's keep playing through here.
So that is not in order because that is not part of what we're trying to debate here tonight. All right. So this is about an audit. And so if you continue to ask questions that are not pertinent to this, I will be asking you to leave. So, and please, everybody, please know that I have the authority to.
Excuse me.
I don't want to. So please respect what we are here tonight doing. Do you have? Please be very careful.
Oh, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I apologize for that.
All right. Again, everybody, this is very hard to do, and I apologize, but I just want to make sure everyone understands what we are here to do. We are debating whether or not to have an audit. So I caution you if you ask another question.
Oh, no problem, Caroline. Thanks for being here.
Next question.
All right. So would the fact that all of the board members voted on Friday's meeting opposing anything that had to do with Canton Police Department because to have an audit?
So I have not seen what the select board would want to speak on this. I'm not seeing anyone at a microphone. The select board meeting was aired. I was at that meeting where they held their position. They stated why they voted the way they voted. So they may or may not choose to reiterate at the
They should have recused themselves, though, according to.
Please be very careful. Please be very careful on your next statement. All right. If you have a determination that you are absolutely sure that they should have recused themselves, then you can make it. But I'll tell you right now, you better be 100% sure.
Would you ask the board if they have reviewed the ethics clause?
That is, I've asked them if they've passed, if they've taken the course.
The course is one thing. Did they have to?
Carrie and M. Sully, thank you so much for the coffees. I appreciate that. The donations, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Were they bound to recuse themselves according to their code of ethics? I don't think I'm out of order for that.
Thing I throw out?
I'm going to end it with that. I'm going to move over and I am respectfully asking you at this time to step down because again,
Thank you.
I understand what you're trying to accomplish. Please. I understand your concerns or whatever. I've just explained to you that if you believe that and you have a concern, it is your, please look at me and pay attention. It is your
There are
responsibility.
people being
It is-
rude to me behind me. They're speaking rudely to me. Out of order on their end.
I'm asking everybody to be quiet. I've just explained, I've tried to explain, it is all of our responsibility.
To be respectful.
I appreciate if that is your concern, please just Google it. There is a ethics hotline and you are able to call and report them and you'll get a letter of determination. All right, thank you. Next person.
Yes, Rita Lombardi, sorry, 8 Kings Road, and I rise in favor of Article 6. I
Rita!
support the Canton Police Department.
It's Rita!
Of my entire life. My relatives are in this town.
I love Rita.
I grew up in this town. I had the utmost respect for the Canton Police Department. I support the.
I've had Rita on the stream too. Rita came on my nightcap. If you go back to November 1st, my night show, Rita came on for a little while. We had a great time. She was great. I'd love to have her back on too. She was very nice. She was in the chat. She's like, I'll come hang out. And she jumped on and just really got a just a feeling for who she is and what she believes here. It was just really great. Really, really nice people. I was very welcomed out there the day that I went out, and it was really the first time I had really gone out to a court hearing and live streamed or interviewed people, and people were very nice to me. Very, very nice. And they're like, we know who you are. We know who you are. It was really cool. It was very nice. Very nice to see. All right. We got over 100 people in here. That's awesome. Welcome in, everybody. Make sure to smash that like button. And we'll keep playing through here. Welcome on this Thanksgiving Eve. We're hanging out. LTL True Crime Podcast.
Audit, because I have worked for companies for years that do independent audits. Nobody likes to have an independent audit done, but when it is done, it shines light on where
She's
you're
right.
doing things right and where you're doing things.
That's what I said earlier.
Improve. And it's a gift when you find out where you can do better and you improve, and it increases efficiencies. And some of the positives about an independent audits, they're impartial and include a review of compliance of the activities and reports to.
She's very
processes and
smart.
Procedures. We heard earlier that, these audits are being done. We have never seen an independent audit that shows us this. If there is one that is done that shows us the compliance that's not self-graded, fabulous. I'd love to see it. Audits that do not include the compliance component by an impartial party have limited.
Hey, Erica, how are you?
It's equivalent to grading your own paper. Independent audits serve as useful checks and balances to ensure that policing activities are being
She's super
carried out
smart.
in accordance with established ethical standards, regulations, and laws.
Susan, thank you for the donation on Cash App. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting LTL True Crime Podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Independent audits allow police departments to proactively address concerns, improve operations, build stronger relationships with the community. We're at a point right now where we don't have a strong relationship, as is evidenced by some of the heckling in here. Some reports areas include areas of successes that are celebrated and identify systemic issues within the department, leading to improvements in policies, training, and personnel. They provide elected officials, such as the Board of Select who oversees them, information regarding their oversight responsibilities. Auditors bring different levels of expertise that in-house auditors simply don't have.
Excuse me.
To improve efficiency and reduce operating costs. So whatever the audit costs, you can be assured that you will reap the benefits of that in operational efficiencies. Improved decision-making. efficiency and reduce operational costs and mitigate
Yeah, I was out there the whole time.
risks such as lawsuits against the town or the Canton Police Department. So we've had lawsuits against the town and, maybe an internal or an external audit would have helped prevent that. We don't know because we haven't done it. It's an alternative form of citizen oversight. And
Smart.
Okay, when the police department demonstrates.
Smart. That's the Boston accent. Smart. We're fucking wicked smart, kid. Wicked smart. That's just the Boston thing. I don't know. It's just how I talk. Park the car in the Harvard garage.
That it supports independent oversight. They are telling the community that they value.
You know what's annoying? So this is the thing that's super annoying. I hate when you watch a movie that's based in Boston. So the actors or actresses have to learn the Boston accent and they always get it wrong. It's fucking terrible. Like if you watch like Departed, their accents are awful in it. It doesn't even sound like a true Bostonian accent, like a true Massachusetts accent. It's so fake and it's so bad. The movie's great, but their accents are terrible. Like they can't get it down. It's like, and half the people in that movie are from Boston. That's the funny thing about it. They're from Massachusetts.
Transparency, fairness, and continuous.
I'm over near Foxborough, over near the stadium. I live about 15 minutes from there.
Continuous improvements. The long-term benefits and the reduction in financial risk exposure far outweigh the cost. I ask you to vote yes for the audit because good enough isn't. We need to be
Right.
better.
She's right.
We are better and we can do better. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good, Rita.
Order. All right. I am going to take a couple more comments. I want to make sure that these comments are new and unique. Otherwise, so please make sure you weigh your words carefully. We're starting to hear a lot of the same items, the value of audits and things like that.
So what? That's how people feel, man.
Be heard. I don't want to not have people be heard. So I'm asking you to please consider whether your comments are going to be critical to helping move this audience one way or another. If the woman and Pete's, yes, whatever,
Okay.
Lawrence.
Mr. Moderator, thank you. Can I cede to Kathleen
Quincy here.
Trish, 26 Farm Street. I'm wondering if I could cede to Kathleen because I think she has slides.
Yes, you may yield to her.
Oh, no problem, Victorine. Good to see you.
Kathleen Howley, 43.
My schedule's all messed up too.
Slides and go to the-
Excuse me. Didn't this girl already talk before?
Actually, can you go back one? No? Okay. Can you go forward one, please? Yeah. So, Mr. Moderator, I just want to point out that we are here talking about an independent audit of our police department, that taxpayers spend more than $5 million a year on. And the select board has already issued a statement saying we agree. And they've conveyed that they want a thorough and holistic.
I think everything in Massachusetts, like every town in Massachusetts, they always say they have townies. I don't know if that's like an outside I've never heard it anywhere else besides Massachusetts. Anywhere I've been, they always say it's just the townies. I don't know if they say that in other places. Do other places say that? Like if you go to Texas, do they say the townies? I don't know. Like if you go to California, is it the townies? But I've always thought it was just a Massachusetts thing.
Administrative review of the policies and procedures. So I think we are not here to discuss whether.
Excuse me, point of order. The other rooms.
You say townies?
Reading the slides.
That's funny.
So in fairness to the other rooms who are going to vote.
Charlestown townies. Yeah.
You can either read the slides or please make sure that you're summarizing in your comments the points on the slide so that all rooms have the same information to vote on, all right? Thank
Let me
you.
just read the select board October 24th statement. We have heard the individual concerns of our residents. We agree and have conveyed to our police chief that a thorough and holistic administrative review of the policies and procedures of the CPD is appropriate, and at our direction, the
Desert rats.
has begun the process of searching national firms.
Charlestown, a lot of people from Charlestown.
To conduct this work. So my point,
City Slickers.
excuse me, my point is.
Oh, you were there? All right.
we're in agreement
I didn't see you.
on the issue of an audit, and we are discussing how that could be done. Louis, could you go to the next slide? So the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission, it does audit policies and procedures, and I want to point out that was the word in the slide that we just saw. That's what the select board is suggesting, policies and procedures. It does not audit whether those procedures are being followed. Compliance is a self-assessment. If you Google this title, the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission, and the self-assessment phase, you'll come up with the webpage that I'm talking about. So it's really the most.
Norwood has the highest. I used to live in Norwood.
Consuming phase of the process. It's really the hardest part, is what they say. It is a self.
I went to the
phase. So the compliance.
I went to the Balch school in Norwood. That's where it was? Balch? Is it called Balch? Middle school, I think. I don't even know if it's there anymore. It was right uptown. I remember it. I went there for 1 year.
Part of it is
third or fourth grade, I think.
You know,
is Balch even there anymore?
Self-grading. This is our concern. Is we understand that we have a thorough review of the policies and procedures, and what we're looking for is an independent audit to see about compliance. There was a slide up here a little while ago that said that had listed all of these things that were passive things. They are not, or training, or this is not, this is not an audit. Nothing on that slide that was shown earlier was a.
Balch is still there. Is it Belch or Balch? Is it Belch?
Policies and procedures. Louis, if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide. I just want to show you on the post database. If you look at Canton, we have an amazing record. We have one disciplinary action, and that occurred while the officer was with the Boston Police Department.
Oh, wow, it's Balch. It's still there. Wow.
Canton, you see what their results are. We would like.
That's an old school.
Have an independent audit to.
I had a homeroom teacher. I remember her name. Her name was Mrs. Hines. I'm not kidding you. When I was at Balch, her name was Mrs. Hines, and she used to fall asleep in class. She would put her arm on the desk like this and literally fall asleep, and we'd all be like, "Don't wake her up." She was old. She was an old lady too, and she was mean. I remember she was really mean. This is back in the 80s. It was like third or fourth grade for me, maybe third or fourth, definitely. But she was mean, Mrs. Hines.
If it's a case,
and she fell asleep all the time.
Disciplinary action is simply not being reported, or perhaps not. But the taxpayers would like some reassurance, and we spend a lot of money in the police department, and we're happy to do that. Most of the people who in the group that gathered the signatures have law enforcement in their family.
And speaking of flashbacks, there was a warning, I remember, around that time that they sent letters out to parents provided by that school that there was a guy going around Norwood and handing out stickers. But on the stickers, they all had LSD on them, and he was giving them to kids. They eventually ended up getting the guy. But I remember, I just know all this shit like comes back to me. Yeah. He was putting LSD on the stickers and giving them to kids. What a fucking crazy asshole. Who does that?
I I come from a military
Yeah.
family, and
It's crazy.
we are grateful to the police. And I want to end with one story, Mr. Moderator.
I am cutting you off at this point. I believe that the town at this point is.
I live near
ready to vote
Foxborough.
this motion. So.
About 15 minutes south of
I
Foxborough.
would ask again, everybody be seated and get ready to vote. I apologize. I would love to have had, plenty of time to speak all night long. I apologize, but it is evident to me by everybody's motions and that we are ready to vote this motion. So, so please, everybody in the other room, what we have is the motion that is written on the back of the voting card is the motion that's at hand. So.
Oh,
all in
hello.
favor of this motion, please signify by raising your cards.
I drive through Plainville just about every day. I am not in Norton.
All right, everybody look around and make sure you understand. All opposed. Okay, and now we will wait for the results of the other room.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow. Do you know all the things with like people like poisoning people and like razor blades and all that? Like it's like more rumor than actually like fact. Usually it's a family member that's doing it. It's crazy. All right, I'm going to speed this up a little bit because sorry.
In the gym, passed narrowly in the gym, and the motion passed narrowly or by a better margin. And so as a result, so as a result,
There's Conley.
The motion has passed by a narrow margin. And
Let's go back.
And so as a result,
that's Conley, right?
So as a result, let me call.
Does anybody knows what he said? What did he say? Does anybody know what he actually said? Yeah, I'll rewind it. He said something about the vote. Look at all their faces, the people on the board. What did he say? Did anybody know what he said? We'll go back.
So as a result,
Something about the vote. Something about the vote. He was opposing the count. Oh, okay. He said, what the fuck happened? Did he really say what the fuck happened? Did he really say that? Or is everybody just saying that? That's crazy that he would say that. Damn, that's fucking crazy.
So as a result, let me call the motion has
Count the
passed.
vote. He's saying count the vote. Count the vote. That's what he's saying. Count the vote. Yeah, he didn't say it. It said count. He said count the vote. Count the vote. That's what he was saying. We want order. I'm trying to listen to what he's saying. Hang on.
A better margin, and so as a result, so as a result,
Something about certify the vote, count the vote, and that's what he was saying.
let me call it,
Count the vote.
the motion
Count the
has
vote.
passed
Certify the vote. Count the vote.
by a narrow margin in all three, and is so voted.
He's pissed.
Next person.
Agree with you, Count.
All right.
James Terrell,
full wall court.
I got, all right, so I have one disagreement. Again, if we go with a disagreement, we will.
This is
go through
crazy.
the tailoring
So
process,
tense.
For this article. So I have one disagreement on the count.
I thought we had to stand up and show, not the teller. I thought that was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Our telling process, I'm sorry, we will not be using written, we passed that. So our tellering process, if we have 7 people that challenge the vote, we will be standing in place, holding the cards and be counted. So I have one. Is there anyone else? And trust me,
This is good. This is intense, man. Excuse me.
all right. So we are now going to a tellering process. So will the tellers please come forward? Point of order or what? Gentleman standing here in front? I can't hear you. Go ahead.
Excuse me, John Kelly, Peakwood Street. Thank you for moving forward with the tellering process. I don't know how we were able to get a simple majority when the 3 rooms are split.
That is one of the challenges we have tonight. I was told by the 2 other moderators that the motion passed narrowly in their room. I believe that motion passed narrowly in our room, and in the 3rd room so that is why we are going through a tellering process where we will count the votes and bring them to the front. So everyone must be in their seat. Please close the doors.
It's intense.
All the other voting areas close.
Even though I know it passed, it's still intense right now. This is like pretty intense.
Doors and have the tellers report to the front of the front of the area. And those 2 tellers are going to be counting the yes no's first, the yes votes first. By people showing their cards, they're going to walk down. They have to have the same number when they come down. And so I will not make people hold up their cards all day. They can do it row by row or however they choose. That way they're not their voting cards up. But each teller will be taking
thanks for being here.
And walking down, counting the votes on clickers, and then they bring them up front and we tally all the votes. Each room will have the same process, and we'll bring all the votes together, and we will then tally them up and let you know the results of the vote. So just a reminder, everybody must be seated in a seat to have a vote counted. And the tellers are going to be going up and down the rows and counting, and then we're going to tally them up. I am going to go check the other rooms to make sure that process is proceeding. Jason Gale from the clerk's office will be starting that process here. During this tellering process.
Oh my God, it's taking forever.
I roll and work the. So I ask you to hold the cards up, and if the tellers are the tellers going to go in sync so that they can just do one row at a couple rows at a time, so they don't have to hold it the whole time. Then I think that would be preferable, so that people don't have to hold this up. And just in case there's any confusion whatsoever, do not take your phone out and start videotaping people, because that's the incident that I just had to deal with in the other room. And I will not deal with that very favorable for anybody who takes their phone out. Trust me on that one. So please tellers, start the telling process for the vote of the yeses. Oh. And can we close the doors up top? All right, thank you. So as that they can get quotes from 3 vendors, real-time results on the screen. And again, it comes with its negatives that all they have to do it one more time. So I apologize for that.
What the hell? They counting like 50 times, man. Man, they tried every single way to try to turn this one, huh?
Middle section, we were 9 off. And so we need to get it within, because if it's that close, I am not calling it. We'll start all over. So please, let's try to do this one more time.
What are they trying to turn this thing every single fucking time they vote? We're gonna do it again. We didn't get the result we wanted. We're gonna do it again. What is this? Why are they counting 4 times? What the fuck? We gotta do it again. We gotta do it again. We didn't get the count we wanted. Shh, we're gonna do it again. 4 votes? Holy shit.
Nice and high. Let's do it again. We are going to start some of the other sections with
What the fuck? Again, 4 times.
I was just told I was an idiot.
Yeah. More like bully everybody. My God. I'm just going to speed it up. And
Ready for no's? All right, tellers, please take your position. We're ready to count the no's, and then we will, I'll add up the yeses right now. All right? All right, are we voting no's? Are the tellers all right? Everybody voting no, please raise your cards.
This could have been done so simply. Just go into a fucking ballot box and put it in a ballot. They could have had this done in 5 minutes. I mean, you're only counting 1,800 votes. You could have had people just vote in a ballot box, drop it in there, a live ballot, right in front of everybody. You pull the ballots, you count them out in front of everybody. Yay, nay, yay, nay, yay, nay. And it would have been done in 5 minutes. This whole process would have taken 15 minutes to do. This is ridiculous. This is the worst voting I've ever seen in my entire life. What the fuck? Literally, you could have just had an empty ballot box. You show everybody that's empty. Everybody gets their card. They walk up, drop it in the ballot box. They open the box in front of everybody for transparency. And you have one person. Yay, nay, yay, nay, yay, nay. It would have been done in 15, 20 minutes. Holy smokes. No wonder it took 3 goddamn hours. Uh-oh. Here we go.
The final tally is 903 to 800. The motion carries.
Look at the disappointment.
All right, order. We we have a couple more articles to get through. Let's see if we can move this along. We now,
11
chair will now
p.m.
recognize the
Jesus.
chair of the Finance Committee for Article number 7.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The Finance Committee moves that the Select Board, moves the Finance Committee motion as listed in the warrant.
So, motion has been moved and seconded to move the motion as written in the warrant on page 14. Speaking on the motion, Ms. Thomas.
So the proponents of, so this article, for those who may just be trying to catch up, is about moving elections from the current election day in April to November to align with existing state and national elections. The proponents of.
Is there anything else of importance here, or can I turn this off? Do we need to see anything else? You all were there. Let me know, because I'll play it. I have no qualms about playing. This was the last vote. Do I need to do any more? Let me know.
This article seek to enhance civic engagement and increase
Nope.
participation in
All
local
right,
voting.
let's do this. Will you guys or ladies all out on the courtroom steps on November 1st? If you weren't there, I'm going to do this for you. Let's play this. If you didn't see Aiden's speech outside of the courthouse, I was there and I got his speech. I'll play it and then we'll wrap this stream up.
Yeah.
I did this handheld too. I held my iPhone for this. Look how steady this was. Perfectly steady. Didn't falter once. We got you, kid. Look at that. Cinematic.
Free Turtleboy. Yeah. Right. Protect our journalists, protect first rights. First Amendment. That's right. Just. Oh, you're killing Richie with the flag. I think that he's a little bit misinformed about the science of the case, particularly about the Elizabeth Proctor thing, bringing up and saying it is that he doesn't really seem to know what actually happened because he's been presented clips of things completely out of context without telling the whole story. The government's lying here. They're being dishonest. With that particular situation, Elizabeth Proctor, the wife of State Trooper Michael Proctor, contacted the employers of multiple turtle riders. That's what we call our fans. Multiple turtle riders. She contacted their employers and said that they should be fired because they commented negatively about her husband. In return, I wrote about that. I said, here's what this woman did. She is trying to get people fired for speaking out against her husband. In response, people contacted or posted on her company's Facebook page with negative comments about that. So it's okay when she does it. But when other people do it to her, it's suddenly a felony. That is how protected Elizabeth Proctor is, because her husband is a state trooper who I have been criticizing for covering up the murder of John O'Keefe and framing Karen Reed. It's undeniable. The evidence shows it. And because people have the audacity to speak out about Michael Proctor, Elizabeth Proctor has a history of trying to get them fired from their jobs. That is the real story that has not been told to Judge Crupp.
Is 500 feet okay with you?
No, 0 feet is okay with me.
And were there any, back to the Proctor thing, did you urge at all anyone to put the information out? Did you say, I didn't see the clip, did you say contact?
I don't remember the exact thing, but I said I did post about what our employer's name was, since that's what we're doing now. And if people commented on the page or gave them a negative review, that's on them. I didn't leave a negative review on Instrom's Facebook page. If Instrom wants to employ somebody who acts like that and behaves like that, they're free to. But I have a right to inform the public that this woman is doing this behavior and she works for this company over here.
Judge Krupp alluded that this case would eventually be heard by a jury. Did you think it would ever go that far?
I have no idea how the process works. I'm happy to try this in front of a jury, whatever they want to do. I'm not afraid. The facts are on my side. I would love to get these 8 so-called victims or witnesses on the stand and ask them about exactly what they did. And I would like to ask Elizabeth Proctor why she did that, why she contacted people's employers, and why it's not okay when the same thing ends up happening to her.
You've been very supportive of Karen Reed and her family. Have they been supportive of you? Have they reached out to you?
Oh, I've had conversations with the Reed family for sure. Positive conversations.
Very well.
Good job, Andy.
Do you have anyone
Any questions? I'll take questions.
So the judge talked about due process and that he originally was arguing based on the First Amendment. And so is he going to want more documentation to back that up? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to be fair to the Commonwealth. I don't have any problem with that. You know, we're not here to compromise. We're not here to work out a solution. These orders are unconstitutional. They need to be vacated. If they can take a month if they want to find some law in their favor. They're not going to find it. In this case, we just kept uncovering theories on why this violates Mr. Carney's First Amendment rights. You know, it violates his due process rights. The government can't just suddenly decide that everything that all of you folks do every day is now a felony. That's absurd. That's a due process violation. The government has to get fair notice. A reasonably intelligent person has to be able to look at a statute and know what is prohibited and what is not. And there are reams of videos where people stick a microphone in someone's face, and I don't mind Ted, you're sticking one in my face. But, you know, when you're trying to uncover hard stories, hard facts, you have to get tough. And I know a lot of you here, and you know, a lot of you have to get tough, and I've seen it, and it's terrific for uncovering the facts, uncovering the truth. And the only reason Aiden Carney is the one on the chopping block here is because these prosecutors, these state troopers, they're lost in the fog of the battle here on the Karen Reed case. And Aiden Carney is uncovering facts that hurt them. And so they used what was at what they had to go after Aiden Carney. They used the machinery of the state to prosecute him on something that is unprecedented. Pure journalism, on something that is tough journalism that is completely covered and protected by the First Amendment. If the Supreme Court allows KKK, allows Nazis, allows awful people to spew hate, that's not even what we're doing here. Aiden Carney is doing good work, is speaking on matters of public concerns, what the Supreme Court calls it, and is acting in such a way that helps society, helps the pursuit of truth. And he's the one that's on the chopping block. It's outrageous. This is a doomed prosecution. Whether it ends here in Dedham, whether it ends in Boston at the SJC, or whether it ends in Washington, D.C., this prosecution is doomed. Thank you.
Do you have to submit one more document before he takes the matter under advisement?
Yeah, we supplied.
You know what's crazy? I was just thinking about, and
reams of clips off the internet.
you know what's just crazy? I was just thinking about. I can't believe that news cameras are still that big and heavy to today. It's crazy. You would think with all the technology and all the things that we do, they would slim and lighten the cameras, but those things are so big. It's crazy.
Yeah, where reporters, probably some of you in this crowd, are somewhere impolite, showing up somewhere that might raise an eyebrow, showing up in a guy's driveway, asking tough questions, taking an advocacy point of view, and trying to get facts from a witness.
I believe it was your station
Yeah,
where a reporter showed up at Rachel Rollins' house and asked her about a road rage incident that I first reported. And Rachel Rollins flipped out at her, yelled, "Get out of my, you have no right to be here." But the reporter did have a right to be there. That's a time-honored tradition of journalism in this country. And what they are trying to do is ban people from being uncomfortable. Protesting is designed to make people uncomfortable. 250 years ago, this coming December, less than 10 miles from here, a bunch of people made the British uncomfortable by
Boston
throwing
Tea
a bunch of
Party.
tea off a ship. And it jump-started a revolution that ended up creating the greatest country
Yep.
in the history of the earth. One
Absolutely.
in which free speech and free press is protected at all costs. And what they are trying to do right now, what the state is trying to do, what the corrupt Massachusetts police are trying to do, is trying to outlaw that. The same Detective Brian Tully, who signed the reports, Michael Proctor's fraudulent reports, is the one who not only spearheaded this entire investigation and this entire prosecution, he comes to every hearing as well. He is here today. Meanwhile, there is a Ford Edge out there that was parked at 3 a.m. right next to John O'Keefe's body outside of 34 Fairview Road. They are aware of it. It has now been 83 days since they became aware of it. Instead of finding who was driving that Ford Edge, he's in here watching this sham of an injustice take place in this courtroom, which he spearheaded.
Right. Aiden, what effect does this prosecution have on freedom of the press?
Oh, this should scare everyone. Like we said, we've pulled up hundreds. You could find probably thousands of videos of reporters aggressively pursuing and asking questions of people that make them
The
uncomfortable.
Boston Tea Party was one of the biggest and best revolutions of all time. And I mean, essentially started this country. It's an amazing feat for the United States. It's amazing. So proud of that. That happened here, you know? That happened like a half an hour from where I live. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that happened. And just to think like you live in that area where it happened. It's amazing. Something to be really proud of. It's really awesome. Boston has so much rich history about it. It's crazy. Good stuff.
Those reporters were not charged with witness intimidation as a result of that. So this has an extreme
You
chilling
can go to
effect
the boat,
on free
Gary.
speech
They have the boat.
and free press in this country. And perhaps some journalists are okay with it because I'm uncouth or I say words that make some people feel uncomfortable. But today it's me, tomorrow it's them, so they should probably be a lot more concerned about it.
This is a test case for that. And if they're allowed to get away with this for Mr. Carney, everyone else is next. Everyone else in the media is next. Will this case set a precedent? Yes.
How long do you think the trial?
Just a few days if it's in district court.
Put 1,000 people over your age.
They have the boat there. You can go.
Anyone else have any
Yeah, it's
questions?
awesome.
All right, we'll do it. We'll keep doing it. So,
Thank you, Daddy.
thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, Battleship Cove is awesome too. Yep. All that.
Oh, yeah, we got a whole agenda.
Thank you guys all. All right.
Saying bad stuff. That's his. He has no facts. Back it up. He's saying all that stuff. I'm glad you go back up there.
And then another thing you can do here, Carrie, is you can go to the what is it? The down in Plymouth Plantation, and you can see how they all, lived when they first came here. And they landed at Plymouth Rock, which wasn't really the rock, but But it's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing to go do too. I'm going to finish this up about another 3 minutes and I'm going to wrap up the stream. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thanks for the support, all the donations. If you want to donate before I go off live, you can donate here on this link, buy me a coffee.
Oh, the one in Bridgewater? Oh, yeah, okay, I remember that one, yes. Free speech is alive and well. We're gonna defend it. That's right.
Everybody have an amazing Thanksgiving tomorrow. Thank you for being here. We're going to wrap this up in about 3 minutes. 2 or 3 minutes.
How can you even consider him a potential witness at the time that he made that phone call? That's a great point. He wasn't even.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Give me a picture.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, well, have everybody here. If anyone wants to go to Casey's,
Oh, excellent. I was just there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't like it,
There is too much. Oh, you heard me rant about Marvin. Should be more accessible.
See Jill anywhere?
Hold it to wait like 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. Imagine just beeping in traffic. Jill Daniel stops. She loves you, Aiden.
Tomorrow? What's tomorrow?
I was kind of like, I didn't want to like tap him. I was kind of waiting for him to turn around. So it was he kind of caught wind and I think he turned around at one point and he's like, oh, hey, like, I didn't want to be like, hey. So kind of trying to naturally get him to turn around. And then finally he did after this lady here. It's kind of
Submissions. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get it done.
Everybody I met down there was very nice.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Tell him the bald guy that was sitting in the back of the
Yeah,
that's him. That's him.
I have my opportunity to kind of turn back around.
Brian, LTL.
Oh, nice to see you,
What's
Brian.
up, man?
How you
How are
doing,
you? Good to see you.
Come back in your show soon.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me on.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff.
I recognize you.
All right. Thank you guys all for coming. I
All right.
appreciate
Take
it.
care.
All right. And then we'll end the stream with this right here. I kind of walked in the same direction. I got my picture taken. I didn't even know what the hell to do. Just kind of like, all right, well, we'll just do this funny face like that. But great photo. Got to actually meet him. It was really nice. And everybody was very, very nice. Very, very nice. Super, super nice. That was a cool day going on there and actually checking out the court proceedings and everything. And I can't wait to go down there and do it again. And I definitely will be out there for Karen's case. And then if there's any other hearings that I can make it out if Aiden has any more hearings, I'll get out there. So yeah, really, really great time. Really, really good stuff. Everybody was very nice. I met a lot of great people. I got to meet Tom, which was great, and Rita, and I had Rita on the show that night. She actually popped into my chat. So when we did the recap. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. It's getting late. It's about 11:15 here on the East Coast. I want to appreciate everybody coming over this evening. Thank you for all the donations to the channel. I hope everybody has an amazing Thanksgiving with all of their hearings that Aiden is involved in. Let me know if you need any info. Yeah, I'd love to know like his court schedule. And if you could tell me, just email me at Let's Talk Live and I'll drop the email here. There's my email. It's going to pop up here in a second in the chat. It's Let's Talk Live Podcast at gmail.com. If you can email me the dates and what court it's going to be at, that'll help me, because if I can get out there, I will go and shoot video down there and be there. But yeah, thank you. We saw a lot of new faces here tonight, a lot of new subscribers. I will continue to do Karen, Reed, and Aiden updates as I get them. Hopefully I can get him back over here on the channel. He said he'd love to come over here. I'll reach out to him again and see if I can get him over here again soon. Thank you, everybody, again, for the support. All the coffees that everybody bought me this evening. I appreciate that. It's a new app that we set up, and it seems to be working really well. So thank you so much. Again, come by, watch out, watch my other material here on the channel. We do a lot of great things, and we do a lot of giving back, and we donate and try to help out as many people as we can, and try to keep complete truth and transparency. Ugh, I hate saying that here, but not for the fact of truth and transparency. It's just it's another channel that uses that name, and Carrie knows who I'm talking about. But we try to stick to the facts, the transparency here, and do it the right way, So everybody have an amazing night. I hope everybody has a great day tomorrow, and get some rest. Don't eat too much food, and we'll see you back here again live on LTL True Crime Podcast. Thank you all for being subscribers and new members, and all the donations. I do appreciate it. Everybody have an amazing night. Get some rest, and have an amazing day tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.